Hey guys, what's going on? We are back with our weekly solo shuffle, doing some Enhancement Shaman, PvP, playing Totemic, and we got one heck of a lobby here, and we technically didn't lose, but we technically didn't win either, I guess. But I'll let you guys decide. Anyways, we have an Unholy DK, a Resto Druid, a Holy Paladin, a Balanced Druid, and a Demo Lock. I don't know why I struggled to say all those, but I did. Anyways, this first matchup we are fighting the Demo and the Balanced Druid, while I am with the Unholy DK. Now, he suggested we go after the Balance, which normally I would agree. I would definitely agree. But in this case, I feel like maybe going after the Warlock was the better option. One, Demo locks deal a lot of damage when left alone. On top of that, I feel like boomkins have gotten significantly tankier, even though they are very disruptive and annoying because they have cyclone spam and all of that. I feel like it's easier to stick to a warlock and shut down his damage rather than chase around a druid all the time. Now, don't get me wrong, it probably is the better idea to go after Druid. It's just my personal opinion on it. And it's probably easier for him to grip the Druid onto the Warlock rather than gripping the Warlock or the Paladin onto the Druid, because the Druid's just going to shapeshift and run away. But anyways, yeah, we're doing our best here, and you can see my damage is absolutely horrible, and you probably saw earlier that I didn't even have grounding totem on my bar, so I had to whip out the talent tree and put it on my bar. Oh, that's embarrassing. But anyways, yeah, so again, I still think it would have been best to go after the Warlock, but we almost get him down quite a bit, but you can just see they're both doing a enormous amount of damage, and there again is a spell bop on the druid that I cannot see and is really freaking annoying, and I don't understand why it doesn't have a visual. But anyways, I don't design the game, and we're just gonna let that bypass. But we get everybody quite low, but the paladin's doing a great job keeping everybody stable, and I think I missed a fear that was on my druid, which is quite unfortunate because yeah, I think it costed us the game, but I get my wall up just in time, but it's just barely keeping me alive, and then I fall over. So it's a bit unfortunate. It's probably my fault we failed that one. One, I couldn't do any damage, and two, I missed the fear with the tremor, so a bit unfortunate. But anyways, myself and the Boomkin versus the Warlock and the Unholy DK. Now, this one he suggested we go after the Warlock, which I completely agree was the case. But I think the issue became that I wasn't aggressive enough onto the Warlock. The Boomkin stated later that we should push and just go rather than try and back off a little bit. So yeah, but I think I definitely could have been a lot more aggressive onto the Warlock, forcing his port and stuff a lot more. Definitely a pain for me to chase, but you know, it is what it is. I'm doing damage this time around, as you can see. I'm definitely getting the damage out there and blasting this Warlock. I'm also not purging enough. I can test that. When you're fighting a Resto Druid and you have Greater Purge, you want to be pressing that on cooldown, especially if you're hitting like the kill target. And the reason being is you just force the Druid to spend a lot more mana onto his healed target because they gain extra healing per dot on the target, I think, or per hot they have on the target, right? So the more you purge, the more they have to reapply, which means the more mana they have to spend, and it's a bit more of a pain in the butt in their case. But yeah. Excuse me. So here the warlocks, this is where I should have just started pushing out more, I think. I was just scared to get locked down, but I had all of his pets rooted. Wasn't really in a terrible position, but here I start backing off a little bit, and I think I get a double stun, and then I swap to the DK. Now, in hindsight, I think this was uh, a good idea, and the reason why is get him quite low, but the druid ended up pushing on top of him. But here I should have quickly swapped back to the warlock. So he goes and ports there. As you can see, the druid made him port, which is good because now he can't get away from me. And this is where I was just too scared to go back, but I should have already been connected onto the warlock rather than trying to run around in LOS. I should have just been right against the warlock the whole time, do a greater purge, get his hots off, and go. So I think that was really the big fault. Although this druid is doing a great job of CCing and keeping hots up, he's just not too worried. And this is where the DK overextended, and I was like, awesome, this is a good opener. But after thinking back, I should have waited a couple seconds, pushed onto the other two, waited for my cooldown, set them up, charge over, and blast them. I think that would have been the better idea, but I tried to set it up with a quick thunderstorm, but just not enough damage. We do get a bit close, and we get them to panic a little bit, but it's just not enough. And the stuff happens, whatever. But they start running away because they know they're a little bit on the back foot, and then he gets topped off. So he's like, "Okay, I'm coming back." I see the cyclone going. Go ahead and interrupt. Get that. Go back on the DK. I should have already been back onto the warlock here. Um, that is definitely my fault. Shutting down his damage and stuff should have been my main goal to slow him down, but you make mistakes. You make mistakes. It is what it is. We lost. Oh, well. And now we're on to the next one, which is myself and the demo lock with fighting the DK and the Druid. Now, the demo lock wants to go after the Druid, which makes complete sense. So I instantly know, okay, Druid's most likely going to try and open with a Cyclone on my Paladin. So I was just getting ready to protect my healer from getting Cyclone. And I see that. I also see both of them went for a Cyclone as well, so I went ahead and dropped Grounding Totem so I could catch both of them or make them, cancel their cast or whatever. But I didn't quite get a whole lot out of it, but it is what it is. It makes them cancel their cast. I do apologize about all the yawning. I don't know what's wrong with me. But anyways, we get a triple CC lock onto this Druid, which was a massive overlap and unfortunate event. But you know what? It happens when you are in pickup groups, right? It just happens. There, I had interrupt. I saw the cyclone. I should have interrupted it, but I stink, so I didn't. I just go ahead and drink it. I probably shouldn't have, but whatever. But anyways, I get a cap totem off onto their druid, the healer, and I don't know if it was DR'd or not. I saw it go off, but maybe he didn't get stunned there. But he did shadow meld one of mine. Then I get cycloned here once again, missing the interrupt, and it's absolutely embarrassing. So yeah, you can laugh at me if you want. But anyways, we get back onto the druid. We have Primordial Storm here, but I get double cloned or double CC'd and I can't connect, and I miss my Primordial Storm combo. As you can see, I tried to click it there. It didn't work, and it was very upsetting. Very upsetting. But I go here for a Hex, and the druid actually shifts out, which very much surprised me. So I actually landed that Hex, and he didn't get the, didn't have decurse, I guess. So we ended up getting a full duration Hex, which gave us a huge lead on damage here. So we end up putting a lot of pressure. He uses his super tree form. I don't know what it's called. But yeah, so we get quite a bit of damage. I see the druid's going for a bit of CC on me, so I'm getting prepared for that. See that, get the interrupt on the cyclone. Here's where I get the cap totem. I drop it, and the druid shadow melts. He shadow melts my static. How they? I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, shadow melt's OP. They need to figure that thing out. But anyways, we're back on the druid, doing as much damage. My warlock is doing an insane job of kiting and keeping them in control, doing a much amount of damage. He has his healing reduction onto the boomkin. We're putting a whole bunch of pressure. I get back to connecting. All this damage is going out. And the druid gets, I see a cyclone. I get cyclone. I'm like, poop. Oh well. But the paladin gets a counter rep, and then the warlock gets a fear on him. It's just crazy. Whole lot of damage. Anyways, on to the next one. It's myself, the DK, versus the boomkin and warlock again. So this one, I definitely, we went again onto the boomkin. We chased after the boomkin, which, again, I don't think is the correct play in this scenario. I think the warlock is definitely much more oppressive, so I think he would have been the better target. But we get a nice grip stun combo going. We get a huge amount of damage, and he pops tree form and just starts healing right through all that damage. This is where I think the druid runs over, right? I think we should have swapped to the warlock there. One, it would have either forced him to demonic circle or go away or whatever, right? but we ended up connecting to the Druid some more. When you're fighting a Resto Druid, it is very important to swap targets. I know in solo shuffle you tend to want to tunnel the one target, right? But when you're fighting a Resto Druid, that's not really optimal. When you want to switch, the reason being is because you want them to throw their hots around, which makes them spend a significant amount of mana. You can see he's at around 70% mana right now, and we're focusing one target. If we move that pressure to both of them, then we get a whole lot more mana out of him, forcing him to, maybe get drinks or possibly go really early into the fight. So there we had a nice double stun, but couldn't connect because the warlock got a fear on me, which was really nice of him, and then he got a fear on my paladin, which I didn't see and failed to help out my paladin there. And here I backed off, trying to stay alive here. And after watching it now, I probably should have waited for Hex to come back, get a Hex on the warlock. Even though the druids probably would have dispelled it, it still would have been some sort of CC to slightly stop the damage. But they start connecting onto the DK, and he's taking a whole lot of damage that's just not quite healable by the paladin. So yeah, bit unfortunate. You can just see we're just rotting down, and then I actually fall over, which sucks. Really sucks. Gonna be honest. It was very frustrating match, but now we're back with the warlock. So same plan as last time. We want to shut down this boomkin as much as we can. He's going to be doing a whole lot of damage, and we can't really shut it down. So the best thing we can do is shut down his cyclones. And that's all you really can do against a boomkin. If you get them low enough, they will switch into bear, which reduces their damage a little bit. But even then, most of their damage is just rot damage like moonfire and stuff. So you just see he gets a clone off, gets me. So I'm like, okay, I got doom winds and crap rolling. Why not? Let's just switch. He gets away from me. I go for a hex. Boom. He dispels it right away. Okay. It is what it is. It is what it is. He's getting away from me. So I'm just going to sit here and attack this nice little holy paladin right here. Get a bit of damage out. So you can see he goes for the rep. I went for the lasso and I failed to hit it soon enough. I actually did this a couple times, which is completely embarrassing, but you know what? You fail sometimes. You really do fail sometimes. So here, he pops Searing Glare, so I waited a second to see if I get dispelled or just wait out the debuff before I Primordial Storm, so that way I don't miss it all. Get all the damage onto the Boomkin, get him to half, forcing the Paladin to use, a little bit of healing there. And he ends up getting away from me, so I just go ahead and hit this Paladin again. Anytime the Boomkin runs through the Paladin and I can't connect back to him, I'm just going to hit the Paladin. It's easier for me, it gets more damage out, and I don't have to worry about chasing behind the pillar and getting Cyclone spammed for the year. But yeah, so we get back onto this very nice Boomkin, start getting a bit burst. Boom, get a triple thing here. I see sacrifice onto the Holy Paladin, so I was going to connect onto him, but I got hodged, which was a bit unfortunate. So I start healing myself just a little bit, get my wall up, get a defensive. I see the Paladin kind of coming in for a Searing Glare, so I go ahead and stop that. He goes to try for a Repentance, and he's right in my face, so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna hit him. See if I can't get bubble or something, right? So he gets quite low. There's bubble. Perfect. Now we can connect onto the druid. Don't have to worry about the paladin all that much because he's in bubble and I can't do anything to him. Druid gets solar beamed here, so he just goes ahead and quickly shifts out of that, which is insane. But here again, the boomkin kites over to the paladin, whatever you want to call this thing. So I connect to whatever I can hit, right? That's the important part. I just got to do damage. That is it right now. We have not much mana, but we have all the pressure in the world right now. And they switch to me, so I go ahead and burrow some of the damage, let the druid get his hots up on me. I see put Iron Bark, boom, pop up. Off we go. We have full hots, nothing to worry about. So we're back onto the boomkin as much as we can. He's kind of kiting towards the thing. I also didn't know if the DK AMSs the druid, you can't interrupt him. That's weird. I don't know. Anybody else find that out? I found that out the hard way just then. But anyways, we get a bit more damage, and we just connect, get a triple CC combo with our static, and we finish the job. So now on to the final match and the redemption match. My Boomkin said, full go the Warlock. So I was like, okay, we are not going to let up any pressure. I'm going to stop that Searing Glare right away. Drop a Cap Totem, boom, get some big pressure. Primordial Storm, we get him to half HP. Okay, gonna follow him wherever he goes. I don't want him to get away. I don't even care about the DK. I'm just gonna sit on this Warlock as much as I can, get the pressure onto the Warlock. The Paladin can heal one target very well, but not as well as the Resto Druid. So it makes it worthwhile to hit the Warlock and only the Warlock and cleave off the pets or whatever, right? So putting on the pressure, I see the Repentance. I go ahead and interrupt it. If you haven't noticed, I've gotten better at my interrupts. I know. I'm 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 learning. Um, but yeah, you can see the amount of damage I'm just putting onto this Warlock. At least it feels like it's my damage, but then you look at the meters and the Druid is just blasting, which is insane. So we end up getting him. We got him on the smallest pillar now. His port is no longer on the other side, which is great for us. So that means we are at an advantage because we're playing on his port, so he can't really get away from us. So I have another combo here setting up. I Doom wins, but I want to get my Feral Spirits out, so I have a bit of extra damage. Boom, there it is. Big Primordial Storm. Big damage. He's going to port here in just a second, but he's so low and he falls over to dot damage. But anyways, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. We're slowly moving up the ladder, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Laters!